Hey, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to Dave's Watch channel. I'm Dave, and for this video, I'm just gonna talk about one of my favorite brands of all time, and it's the Vacheron Constantin. I went into the boutique, a lovely boutique in downtown Vancouver, brand new flagship store, and the salesperson was extremely helpful, very, very courteous, and he was truly a watch aficionado as well. And he, showed me a lot of amazing pieces that I could only dream of owning. Vacheron is one of the Holy Trinity brands, and he just showed me everything. From all the ground complication pieces, even the minute repeater, and it was the first time I had ever seen or heard a minute repeater in real life, and it was just simply exquisite. Would I own one in the future someday? I don't know. Who knows, right? I guess those pieces are only for people where money is no object, because the cost of ownership and servicing of that watch is, I didn't even ask, but basically it retailed for 470,000 Canadian dollars, which is a small studio apartment in expensive downtown Vancouver. So, I always like to see what's in the brochures. It's actually the first time I'm reading this, and pretty funky, right? I mean, Vacheron, this is the minute repeater. I have mixed feelings about Vacheron. As much as I love the brand, they are soft. They are soft in the secondary market, and the problem I find with Vacheron is they don't really have a flagship model, and I think they do that on purpose, right? Vacheron has the Patrimony, they have the Overseas, they have the Toledo, they have they've got a lot of different lineups of watches, but nothing that really stands out like the Royal Oak for AP. Granted, everything else from AP is soft and it's not very desirable, and some may say they are basically a one-trick pony. But it works, all you need is one amazing model of watch, right? And your company brand will withstand the test of time forever, really. Vacheron, however, has not quite developed that flagship model where there are absolutely no competitors. Right? I think the closest would have to be the Patrimony. It's been the most consistent, but let's face it, right? It's a traditional dress watch. It's a traditional dress watch. There's not much room for you to leave your imprint in terms of design. It's basically a three-hand watch. Hours, minutes, seconds, and right. The Patrimony has so many other competitors like the Saxonia or the Calatrava. I think what they're doing is they're really pushing their overseas lineup really hard, and the salespeople were, they were really kind of showing us the overseas initially, trying to sell us on that. But the problem was when I saw the overseas, right? Like these two models, they had it on in the boutique, and I was there with a friend of mine. I actually sold him my first generation overseas chronograph, and we compared it to the latest generation. This would be the third generation, and the proportions of the first generation were just a lot better. These ones, I think they were it says here 42.5 millimeter in diameter, and they were just a little too big, and they also, now they place that the date between the 4 and 5 o'clock hour marker, and maybe not so much for the blue dial, but for the black dial, it really looked odd because the sub-dials, see, in print, they're all white. However, the sub-dials of the watch in person are actually more of a creamy texture, while the date wheel was, was white, right? Similar to this piece of paper, the color of paper right here. So when I looked at the black dial overseas chronograph, all that caught my attention was this date wheel because it was the whitest color compared to the sub dials and even the hour markers. So I think Vacheron's gonna have a tough time selling these overseas chronographs and the latest line of overseas. I don't know. I mean, it was just so expensive because now everything has gone in-house, and I feel that they're kind of a little, the conception of this watch, right, obviously started, many years before, or 5-6 years before, when all the craze was for bigger watches, big sports chunky watches. And now currently I think tastes have become a little more subdued, a little more restrained, right? Where I think people now realize that 40 millimeters is really as big a wristwatch should be for the majority of people's wrists. 42 is I find it a little too big. I've owned the Omega Speedmaster. Even that one was a little big for me. The perfect size I find is 39, between 36 and 40 millimeters, somewhere in between there. 36 would be on the lower limit. That would be perfect for a dress watch. And 40 is really as big as a watch needs to be. 42.5 it's huge. It's really big. So I think that they're gonna have a tough time selling these pieces. They've almost become a little dated, and they are brand new watches. I mean, that's just my humble opinion. Obviously they had some really amazing pieces. They showed, we saw the perpetual calendars. We saw the minute repeater was amazing. It was in platinum, and this one's really cool though. Huh? It's like a tribute watch. Triple calendar, 1942. Very nice. Actually, this, if I were to buy a Vacheron today, it would be this one, the American 1921 Historique. In person, it was just an amazing watch. I really, really loved it. Pink gold, rose gold, manual wind, the movement, it was astounding. Beautiful, beautiful watch, right? In my opinion, I think, for me, what stands out is this 1921 American, the Vacheron Constantin. Just, it was captivating. I really liked it. It was just unique, Arabic numerals. It was just so different. It was a great watch. If Vacheron could come out with one of these in stainless steel, hey, who knows? I think it would be a great seller instead of their 56 or even the Quai de Lille. It just wasn't the same, But if they could come out with the Historique American 1921 in stainless steel, man, I think it would be a hot seller. I would be in the market for one, that's for sure. Those were, speaking of the 56, that was another one that I really didn't, didn't quite fancy. I wonder if they have it here. Doesn't seem like it. Maybe this one's this brochure is a little too old, I don't know. But anyway, speaking of the 56, I also wasn't very taken away by the 56. Again, the date wheel was just odd. It just kind of cut into the 3 o'clock hour marker, and it just looked weird. I didn't like it at all. So yeah, Vacheron Constantin, a bit polarizing. I got mixed feelings about it. I like it on one hand, but on the other hand, the cost of ownership is very high. It's it's okay. It's Vacheron is Vacheron. You buy one because you don't really care about the resale value. You just want to own it, and because you like it. All right. Anyway, wristwatch track, JLC Reverso, tribute to 1931. Have it on the blue Casafagliano strap, and I'm just over the moon with it. It looks absolutely stunning. Blue strap with black dial, with a little bit of faux patina, a little bit of creamy patina. It just looks amazing. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm out. Bye.